In today's news, transition plan and communication central to self-governance goals. Honorable PENN calls for better allocation of unspent budget expenditures. Joint venture between two local firms and another from a Canadian firm. Fourth free cervical cancer pap smear campaign. BVI wins 1 and draws 2 in 3-match series. Walk in Faith and Medicine debut book already rated as a bestseller. We have the details of this and much more when 284 News returns. Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman by yours truly, Ron Grant, presents Season 7. Introducing Travi Rose, Creative Director. Alex Lake, Businessman. Sean Black, Cinematographer. Dakari Wheatley Adams, Content Creator. Donandre Millwood, Educator and Musician. Hashim Dream, Entertainer. James Todman Sr., Contractor. Dr. Albert Tompkins, Psychotherapist. Walter Barrett, Author. Rakim Todman, Producer and Engineer. Kamal Letson, Photographer. Roosevelt Smith III, Sales Manager and Hospitality Professional. Leland Abraham, IT Technician and Cybersecurity Analyst. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman Season 7 coming January 29th at 8 p.m. exclusively on 284 Media. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redefine yourself through the stories of real-life heroes. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman Season 7, Raising a Generation of Greatness. Voted Top 35 Gentleman Podcast Worldwide by FeedSpot and BI Icon Award winner. Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of 284 News. It is Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. A happy Thursday is wished to each and every one of you. Thank you all for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene in the British Virgin Islands, at a press conference earlier today, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley provided an update on the Virgin Islands' progress in implementing the recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry. He outlined the path towards governance reform, a process crucial to lifting the order in council that threatens to suspend the territory's constitution. Premier Wheatley recounted the November 2024 visit of UK Overseas Territories Minister Stephen Doughty, who addressed the territory's progress on governance reforms as discussed in the review process that will influence the decision to lift the order in council. He said that Minister Doughty highlighted several critical elements required for the decision on lifting the order in council.
You would recall that the Overseas Territories Minister, Stephen Doughty, visited the Virgin Islands from the 4th to the 6th of November 2024, primarily to meet the people of the Virgin Islands and make his own on-the-ground assessment of our progress in implementing the recommendations of the COI. The visit was a result of my visit to London in September 2024. During that visit, Minister Doughty outlined the process of reviewing the progress in implementing the COI recommendations for consideration of the lifting of the order in council, which is being held in reserve for the suspension of the Constitution of the Virgin Islands. He stated that the following items would be considered in the decision to lift the order: the final review by the Governor, a self-assessment by the Government of the Virgin Islands, assessments by FCDO officials of key areas, submissions from the public to the Governor.
Premier Wheatley confirmed that the Virgin Islands government has already presented Minister Doughty with a comprehensive governance reform transition plan, which outlines steps to ensure ongoing reforms and institutional improvements. The transition plan shifts the focus from implementing COI recommendations to building sustainable governance systems.
During the visit, the government presented the minister and his team with a governance reform transition plan. The plan facilitates a transition from the implementation of the recommendations of the COI to the ongoing governance reform, whereby government takes responsibility for continuous improvement and our government by building our governance institutions, systems, and processes.
Premier Wheatley also emphasized the importance of public understanding.
There is a massive amount of education and awareness building that is required, both internally to the government and within the wider community, for the value and benefits of the changes coming out of the COI to be fully beneficial to the people of the Virgin Islands. The Governance Reform Education and Awareness Transformation campaign has already started, and in the coming days and weeks, you'll be hearing from me, my ministers, members of the House of Assembly, permanent secretaries, heads of departments, technical officers, heads of statutory boards, the Governance Reform Delivery Manager, the Director of Communications and GIS. We plan to reach every member of the public and public service by every possible medium.
Premier Wheatley expressed gratitude for the Minister Dottie's constructive engagement, as well as reaffirmed the government's commitment to governance reform. He stressed the importance of achieving sustainable reform to build a modern partnership with the UK, rooted in mutual trust, respect, and cultural understanding. 8th District Representative, the Honorable Marlon A. PENN, has proposed redirecting unspent budgetary funds toward direct economic investments, stating that there is a need for improved financial management in the British Virgin Islands.
I've often said, and I've said it in this room particularly, that we don't have particularly a money problem in this country. We have a management problem. And the numbers bear this out. We've seen over the last 2 budget cycles where the government's projected revenues has either hit the target or exceeded the target, and in both 2023 and 2024. But what we've also seen is that the government's inability to manage the resources for which they've collected on behalf of the people of this territory.
Speaking at a recent opposition press conference, PENN highlighted the recurrent issue of unspent funds allocated for expenditure in 2023 and 2024, pointing to the mismatch between available resources and underfunded critical areas. He argued that rather than returning unspent funds to the Treasury, these monies should be strategically redirected to drive economic growth.
In 2023, we had over $50+ million unspent of capital expenditure that should have gone to develop the local economy. We've seen again, and in this very room as well, I mentioned that in 2024, that number will be even more than what we projected. In 2021, we just recently went through the budgetary process. We've seen where over 50, and this is not my words, these are the words from the budget book of the government of the Virgin Islands, where over $58 million, again, of capital expenditure went unspent. This is over $100 million over a 2-year cycle that should have gone in the development of the economy, should have gone to small businesses who are struggling, who should have gotten the opportunity to deal with the infrastructural and development issues of this country, monies that have gone back into the Treasury and not into the economy to benefit the people of this territory.
Honorable PENN underscored the potential of investing unspent funds into infrastructural projects, with particular attention to road improvements in his 8th district and addressing water challenges across the wider territory, which remain a pressing concern for residents and businesses alike.
Monies that have gone back into the Treasury and not into the economy to benefit the people of this territory. $100+ million unspent, yet we have the road infrastructure in our country in the current condition that they are in. Being Eastern Landlocked, the community which I represent and co-represent with the Premier of the Virgin Islands, the Minister of Finance, have some of the worst roads in this entire territory. Something that has stretched the entire territory, and we've seen no relief anywhere in sight. Yet we have over $100 million back into the Treasury. The water issue in this country, the issue of water has now reached a stage that is a state of emergency needs to be called with the issue of water. Months on end, persons within this country don't have the benefit of potable water, the use of potable water within their communities or within their homes for their families. In a 21st century, the behavior is relegated to persons having to still fill bottles of water in pans of buckets of water to bathe and do the necessities for themselves and their families, while you have over $100+ million going back into the Treasury. We do not have a money problem, people of the Virgin Islands. We have a management problem. People are incapable of managing your resources on behalf of you and yourself.
By allocating unspent monies to these critical areas, PENN believes the government can make tangible improvements in the lives of the people while simultaneously boosting economic development. Up next, viewers, we have much more on the local scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Orange alert! Orange alert!
Fire is spreading across the BVI. The fastest, most reliable, and affordable fiber internet service is here for you. Look out for fire in these new locations: Slaney, Duff Bottom, Manual Reef, Seacows Bay, Albion, Hannah's, Palestina, Pleasant Valley, and Havers. Fiber is in your area. Call 444-4444 or visit a CCT store to find out more and bring it home. More locations coming soon.
So, you're a wizard, you drive a horse, and you're uninsured? I'm covered with CG.
Kalazoo! Comprehensive motor cover for all kinds of damage.
Just give me my service. Yeah. Just give me my service. Just give me my service.
Make the switch to CCT and get connected today. Unlimited talk, text, and data. Visit any CCT store or call us at 444-4444. CCT, Life Unlimited.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you all for sticking with us. Moving right along, the Recovery and Development Agency in the British Virgin Islands recently announced that 2 bids have been received by the extended bid submission deadline date of January 17th for the highly anticipated West End Ferry Terminal project. The submissions include one from a joint venture comprising 2 local firms and the other from a Canadian firm. Representatives from both entities were present at the official bid opening, which was led by the RDA's Director of Procurement, Mr. John Primo, at the agency's COB Rumney Tortola Pier Park office. In attendance were CDB Contract Supervisor and Project Manager Sergio Dantes, officials from the RDA and representatives from the design consultant Enros Lackner SE. The bid opening process followed a 2-part envelope system, which were only technical submissions and were open for review. The technical proposals will now undergo a thorough evaluation by the project's design consultant Enros Lackner SE, with the review expected to be completed by early February of 2025. The Caribbean Development Bank, the funding source for the project, provided its no objection in July of 2024, enabling the tender process to proceed. The tender package issued to 4 pre-qualified contractors includes provisions for a temporary facility as agreed with the BVI, Ports Authority, and the Ministry of Communications and Works. The bid submission deadline, originally set for the 25th of October 2024, was extended to January 17th of 2025 to allow the shortlisted bidders additional time to review the detailed project specifications and submit comprehensive proposals that met the requirements of this critical infrastructure project. WIN BVI Ambassador, Mrs. British Virgin Islands 2022-2023, Dr. Arlene T. Penn, is hosting her 4th cervical cancer pap smear campaign. A simple swab campaign seeks to promote cervical health in our community by encouraging women to take charge of their health. Dr. Arlene T. Penn began by sharing her experience.
When I was first diagnosed, I remember I had about, 4? I had a recommendation, but I didn't want to believe what the results were. And the 5th doctor I went to was Dr. Pickering. I didn't know him.
Interesting.
I didn't know him at all. And he said to me, he looked at my file, and people know I say this all the time. He looked at my file and he said to me, young lady, I'm not going to examine you. He said, because you need to get up out of here, go and get yourself sorted out, because if you do not, this thing is going to kill you. And that's when it sort of soaked in for me, because here you have a doctor now at my breaking point who's saying, listen, you can't move from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor because the results will never change The only way it's going to change is you have to get up and do something about it. And I went from here to do something.
PENN, a cervical cancer survivor and thriver, highlighted this year's concept of a simple swab.
So I came up with this idea of, my platform, let me make the pap smears available free of cost to women. Because when I learned that I was diagnosed, it was a free screening, just a free regular pap smear screening that picked up in my early 20s that I'm in danger. So I said that, you know what? Let me make this available to women because the human papilloma virus, which is one of the key causes of cervical cancer, it's real. So what do? Make the pap smears available. So I did it not 1, 2, 3, but now this is my fourth time. And the first time when I started with know now, fix early, live life beautifully, fearfully, wonderfully. Because this was a way for me to get women's mind talking or thinking about the importance of getting the pap smears done.
Additionally, she addressed the campaign target and contribution to clinics.
First of all, we're looking at women between ages 18 to 29. Once you're sexually active, but you never had a pap smear, because there is that category of women. And then you have the category of women who are ages 18 to 65, who are sexually active and had no pap smear in 3 years. We are also making sure that we target you as well. We recognize that there are women who call as well, who may just want to just know.
Understood.
We turn no one away, because it's important that you do not turn people away, but you give them that freedom and that liberty to make sure that if they want to get themselves checked, it's okay.
Should be afforded that opportunity.
In terms of the participating clinics, every year we try to do something that's different. And this year we are working with PENN Medical, Eureka, BNF Medical Complex, and the wellness clinics.
The campaign is free of charge, and women within the targeted areas are encouraged to register and participate. Up next, viewers, we have much more news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Start the year off with more speed, more downloading, more savings, and more fire. CCT Fire Fiber Internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected. Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second, super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the BVI, CCT Fire, and pay no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you all for sticking with us. The British Virgin Islands under-17 boys football team delivered a hard-fought performance in their 3-match series against the United States Virgin Islands, securing a narrow victory with 1 win and 2 draws. The series, held at the Greenland Football Stadium from January 16 to the 19th, served as a critical warm-up ahead of the upcoming CONCACAF Under-17 World Cup qualifiers in Costa Rica. In the series opener, substitute Miles Penn made the difference, scoring the lone goal to give the BVI a 1-0 victory. The match showcased the BVI's defensive discipline and determination, setting a confident tone for the entire series. The second and third games ended in an identical 1-1 draw, with LaShawn Gibbs emerging as the standout performer for the BVI. Gibbs found the back of the net in both matches, demonstrating his reliability as a goal scorer. Speaking after this series to Dean the Sportsman Greenaway, BVI head coach Clinton "Teeny" Percival praised the series, highlighting its value in identifying areas for improvement ahead of the qualifiers.
First, I must say, I must give the FA some compliments for giving us the opportunity to play these games, which is going to be very important for us. It has given us the opportunity to see the players them under different pressured conditions. So The 3 games have given us a lot of insight as to what we need to do going forward to see if we could complete the team before we get to Costa Rica. So I just want to say thanks again for them giving us the opportunity, but there's some ways we have to go. And these games here have given us the right direction.
What are some of the things you saw?
Well, for instance, in terms of how we organize ourselves in the press, can we do it? Can we play out from the back, or can we allow them to play out from the back? So these are the things we've been working on for the last 2 or so weeks. So we see a lot of it come out tonight, but at the end of the day, we recognize also there are much more we can do on it. So yeah, we're gonna just keep working on what we got for the next 3 weeks that we have and try to put everything in place. But it's a working process, and you know what I mean? We're gonna see how we work out going forward.
Percival provided an in-depth assessment of the matches, expressing optimism about the team's potential, while emphasizing the need for further development in preparation for stiffer competition.
So the first game, in my humble opinion, because we as players also, we did not really know what we was coming up against. I think you're going to find and see the tension in the players then, but it was also good because you get an opportunity for what we're going to get in Costa Rica. But after the first game, players get a little more comfortable, so they start to play a little bit more in their own zone. But at the end of the day, that's what we really want them to be doing. Just play the way we ask them to play in terms of touching the ball, passing the ball. But I think they get much more comfortable in the second game, and even you can see in the third game here, they get a lot more comfortable doing what we ask them to do. So repetition is very important for us, and that's the only way forward for us right now.
USVI head coach Dante Nicholas also shared his thoughts on the series, describing it as a competitive and valuable experience for his team.
Just to kind of sum it up, we're preparing for a tournament for the CONCACAF Under-17 men's. Actually, both teams, BVI and the USVI, we're going to be going to Costa Rica sometime in February, the beginning of February. So these games are just preparations for those. The games were good. Just kind of were able to, both teams, kind of sharpen up our tactical and a little bit of the fitness sides of the game and actually go against some real opposition for once. So it was really good for us to kind of combine as both islands, just to kind of actually get some games under our belts before we actually go to the tournament. Really good games from both sides, opposition. My assessment of the games, both of us were really kind of just going neck to neck with it. And you could even see that just by the scoreline, because the first game was 0-1, then the last 2 games were 1-1. So in terms of the games, I think they were really good. BVI is putting together a pretty class team. They have a very good coaching staff that's been working with them. We were just happy that we were able to match up with them. Both the BVI and USVI teams will now turn their attention to the CONCACAF Under-17 World Cup qualifiers in Costa Rica. The BVI's campaign kicks off on February 7th against St. Martin, followed by matches against Trinidad and Tobago, hosts Costa Rica and Guyana. The series has not only built momentum but also underscored the importance of continued growth as the BVI teams aims to make an impact on the regional stage. Former Deputy Premier and Medical Physician Dr. Kedrick Pickren has officially launched his debut book, Walk in Faith in Medicine, at the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital lobby on Wednesday, January 22nd. Already a bestseller, the book offers an intimate exploration of his medical journey intertwined with his faith from his medical career, particularly between 1992 and 1999. Chief Executive Officer of the BVI Health Services Authority, Dr. June Samuel, took time to introduce Dr. Pickren and spoke on the growth and development of medicine in the Virgin Islands, as well as his role in that growth.
Dr. Kedrick Pickren, according to June Samuel, that's what I'm here. I'm not the guest speaker. I'm just giving brief remarks. So first of all, I want to express my sincerest congratulations to Dr. Pickren on this occasion. And this is on behalf of the BVI HSA team, the board, management. He is one of us. He has remained one of us. He has not left us. And so I am very honored to be here to give remarks on this occasion. I must admit, feeling a bit intimidated on learning that I had to bring remarks. So I wasn't sure what I was meant to say, but I'll give you my perspective on Dr. Pickren. So Dr. Pickren is our elder physician and on staff, and that's an honored role. But he is currently the only BVI Lander physician from that original group of doctors that I can remember.
The book delves into pivotal moments, such as operating on his wife during an emergency cesarean section. Dr. Pickren also highlighted the evolution of healthcare in the Virgin Islands, comparing This, of course, the facilities to that of the 1980s to be a modern resource available today. Dr. Pickering spoke upon his journey.
39 years ago, this April, I first came back home and went to look for Dr. Smith and told him I was back. And even he wasn't expecting me. But he welcomed me and our journey began. It has been a long and interesting journey, and I'll share some of that with you. To be standing here this afternoon, having not only published a book, but to hear somebody, that lady who was just speaking, she's Native American from Canada. She lives in Portugal and is actually calling us from the United Kingdom, and owns her own publishing company. And to hear her say that I'm an international bestseller, I'm still trying to figure out what it means.
Now, the book hopes to inspire readers to reflect on their own faith journeys.
Writing a book is obviously a level of commitment that you can't run away from. And when I was deeply enthralled in writing the book, my son said to me, "Daddy, I can see you're really committed to this book." And I said to him, "My son, I went to medical school. They didn't give me my certificate. I studied and passed it, so I understand discipline and commitment." My editor said to me that we could do it in 4 months. If you want to spend your money and keep me on paying me to help you along, that's up to you, but I don't really want your money when you finish the book. And we were committed to get it done within the time that we had it done, and we did it. So it's an accomplishment that to say that I am proud of myself would be understating it. The book really tells some stories about our experiences in the health services. Especially most of the experiences that Dr. Smith and I shared together. And I would have been a little bit disappointed if Dr. Smith didn't show up this afternoon, so I called him a while ago. I asked him, where was he? Just to make sure he hadn't forgotten. And so he's there. Please give Dr. Smith a round of applause.
Copies of Walk in Faith and Medicine are available for $20. Dr. Pickering signed over 60 pre-ordered copies. Additionally, his book is available on Amazon for electric purchase. For those unable to have attended the launch, he has some signed copies also available through local distribution. Congratulations to Dr. Kedrick Pickering. Viewers, that is it for today's News Roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284 Media and 284 BVI on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, as well as our WhatsApp channel for daily updates. I'm Ron Grant. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Happy Thursday. Goodbye.